My husband doesn't see how his work wife is trying to destroy our marriage. Anybody else absolutely hate the term work wife? By the way, we've got new and improved recovering people pleaser merch for you, now available on shop.charlottedobre.net for a limited time. And don't worry, I got you. This was posted in true off my chest. I, 31 female, am at my wit's end with my husband's 32 male coworker, Sarah, 30 female, and his complete inability to see what's happening. I'm not usually one for Reddit, but I need to know if I'm going crazy here. Did he tell you you're crazy? Because you know how I feel about that. Where do I even start? 3 years ago, my husband Mark started working with Sarah. At first, I tried to be welcoming. I invited her to our barbecues, included her in group outings, and genuinely tried to be friendly. Big mistake. She spent the entire time making backhanded comments about everything from my career.
Oh, you're just a yoga instructor? How peaceful.
To my cooking.
I guess not everyone can master basic seasoning.
Ooh, yeah, those are digs. The real problem is that Mark thinks she's just being funny. Last month, she literally threw away the anniversary mug I gave him because it clashed with our office aesthetic. Do we work in like an interior design office? Like, when I got upset, Mark said I was being too sensitive and that, quote, Sarah just has high standards for office decor. It was a mug with our wedding photo on it. Okay, did she like go to his desk and like take down the photos of you guys? No. She just doesn't want to be reminded that he's in a relationship, that he's married. Some greatest hits from Sarah. She scheduled a mandatory work dinner on our anniversary. She convinced Mark not to take a promotion because it would mean working with a different team. She posts daily photos of them together with hashtags like hashtag work power couple and hashtag work spouse. She tells everyone at their office that she, quote, takes better care of him than I do. Wow, she bold. She changed his coffee order and now tells everyone she, quote, trained him right. At the end of the day, there will always be, like, if you're dating an attractive person, there's always going to be people that try to slide in there. When you have that happen, like even the fact that she's doing it in front of you, it's not good. And I don't like that your husband is minimizing it and not putting her in her place. I feel like he's entertaining it because he enjoys it. The worst part, my husband is completely blind to all of this. Yesterday, he actually told me about how Sarah said our new house, which we spent months searching for, was
charming in a starter home kind of way.
He repeated this while laughing. Yeah, that's definitely a dig as well. I would say I find it odd that he's not like mildly insulted by the fact that she just literally shat on your new house and said it's a starter home. I tried talking to him about it, but Sarah has convinced him I'm, quote, just insecure. She managed to insert herself into every aspect of our lives. They text constantly, even on weekends. No. She knows his schedule better than I do. She rearranged his entire desk and office wardrobe because his style was too suburban husband. That's what he is. I feel like there's a lot of boundaries being crossed. And I wouldn't worry too much about Sarah also. I would say that you really need to hammer it into your husband. This is like very inappropriate. I'm all for people in relationships having friendships with the opposite sex, but there has to be like a line. No texting all the time, especially if it's like, this is supposed to be like a work colleague. Why are we texting on weekends? Boundaries really need to be set. Last week, I started marriage counseling. He looked genuinely confused. He, of course, went and talked to Sarah about it. Why is he telling Sarah all this? I found out from another coworker that she's been telling people that Mark and I are going through a rough patch and that she's just being a good friend by giving him someone to talk to. No, he can talk to his male friends, not someone that calls herself his work wife. We weren't going through anything until she started this nonsense. I would honestly also even talk to her. Maybe I'm just a little spicy with all of that. If I even see that a conversation between me and my husband is going on too long, I start to get annoyed. I just do, because what the hell are you talking about for so long? The body language is also important too, because like when you're looking at your significant other talking to someone else and the someone else is, you know, just kind of like their body is just erect, for lack of a better word. I know we need to be blaming the husbands, but she's also pushing things a little bit too far here. She knows that the guy that's her work husband is married, and she has the audacity to push boundaries and insert herself in situations where she's not welcome. Situations that make his wife uncomfortable, and she needs to also respect that. The breaking point. I stopped by his office to surprise him with lunch. I know, but it was his birthday and Sarah was supposedly out sick. Guess who was there? Sarah. She miraculously recovered and brought him a cake that said, "To my work hubby," oh no, with a photo of them from the office holiday party. She saw me and said,
"Oh, Amy, you came too. How nice."
Yeah, that's his wife.
Mark, you didn't tell me your real wife was coming.
Is that really unexpected that like a wife would surprise her husband on his birthday? I'm not crazy, right? This woman is trying to destroy my marriage while my husband stands there grinning like it's all some big joke. Yeah, maybe he enjoys being fought over, honestly. They're both pushing your boundaries, and honestly, I would riot in the streets. I would get very mad. But there's also a small part of me that would be like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you think you could find better? Go ahead. I'm not going to fight for someone that doesn't fight for me, you know? So what do I do? Divorce seems extreme, but I'm running out of options here. I would say that stronger boundaries need to be enforced. I understand you're going to marriage counseling and stuff like that. I would literally tell your husband that unless he chooses between you and his quote work wife and set some serious boundaries, you're going to leave him. Edit to add, I should have stated that the promotion wasn't one that would increase his salary, but his title. It would give him more leadership experience. It still blows my mind that he turned it down just so he could stay on the same team as her. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a total idiot in this case. Like you're saying, oh, he's totally clueless. Any member of the opposite sex that's like kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit like that should make him uncomfortable. And the fact that it's not, I feel like he enjoys the attention at the very least, or he's laying the groundwork to cheat. It's only a matter of time, honestly. Edit to add, I should have told the mug story in its entirety. She accidentally broke the mug. I noticed it was gone when I was visiting him one day and I asked him about it. He said she accidentally knocked it over. Interesting that it was her that knocked it over. Then later he repeated a joke she made about how it didn't fit the office aesthetic. You're right that something's off, but it's interesting that it's never anything that's too overtly cheating. It's always just like,
oh, she's just insecure.
You know what I mean? Something that could be passed off as you're insecure. You have a husband problem. Go to counseling and get professional help to communicate your concerns. Remind him that he's married to you, not Sarah, so her opinions shouldn't matter when it comes to your marriage. Good luck, but be prepared for the worst. The husband's definitely a problem. Sarah's also a problem, but I feel like Sarah wouldn't be as big of a problem if the husband wasn't setting clearer boundaries with Sarah. Yeah, this guy isn't oblivious, he's complicit. He knows what's happening and he likes the attention. He's happy to let his girlfriend disrespect his wife. He loves the attention. He enjoys it. He really, really enjoys that, you know, he's got two women fighting over him. You're very clearly jealous and you have a right to be, but it's not like delusional jealous. Like she's doing things that are very disrespectful to you and your marriage. So the fact that he doesn't at the very least defend you or defend your honor or set boundaries and say like, you know, it's very easy to just set a boundary. Like she's texting him outside of work hours and just say, hey, is this work related or is it important? Can it wait till Monday because I'm with my family right now? If he's not doing that, I'm sorry, but he is enjoying it. And I think at the very least, emotional cheating. I hate to say it, and this is kind of the perfect situation for this, but you're being a people pleaser, honey. But it's okay. We're recovering. We're learning how to not be people pleasers. She's definitely got a husband problem. As a husband myself, I can say this is beyond the pale. I would sit him down and say, look, you got 3 choices. 1, divorce. 2, marriage counseling, or 3, new job and no contact with your work wife. Pick one or I'm picking for you. Husband is either record-setting stupid or he enjoys this scenario. I'm not sure which one is worse. Let's say he is completely oblivious. He's not oblivious anymore because you have said to him that this makes you uncomfortable, that his work-wife relationship makes you uncomfortable. This whole oblivious argument does not really work anymore because he has been made aware of how you feel. So much so that you're going to marriage counseling. Anyways, let's move on to the update. This is a doozy of a story. We have a few updates. Hi, I posted a few days ago and I really didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I got so overwhelmed with all the comments that I haven't responded to any. I want to address everyone who says it's fake. I understand why you think that, but this is my personal hell. I only listen to Reddit stories on TikTok, but when this reached its boiling point, I needed a place to talk. So I made an account and I tried to yell into the void. Well, the void turns out to be a little less empty than I thought. Now to why everyone is here. The update. Before I talked to my husband, 32 male, I decided to do some investigation. I started with his phone and read all the messages between him and Sarah. Ooh, yes, moving in the shadows, love that. She badmouthed me a few times. He did nothing to defend me, but didn't engage either. She was flirty. He wasn't flirty back. They talked a lot, and he praised her frequently for her work ethic and intelligence. I didn't see anything about cheating. I checked his email, nothing. I checked his work email, nothing. I looked through our other devices, nothing. I searched high and low for a second phone, nothing. Everything I found was always dancing that line. Nothing was outright cheating, but here are the things I did find that hurt my feelings. He has lunch with her and only her every day in the office. Oh my God. No. They don't really like anyone else, so they criticize others and say, let's talk more at lunch. They're serving XYZ today. He'd say things like, I'm sure if you were a wife, you would do XYZ. He always kept it as a wife and not my wife, but it still upsets me. She admitted to breaking the mug on purpose. I knew it. He didn't get upset with her, just said, yeah, the photo gifs are kind of corny. It doesn't matter that he's not overtly responding to the flirting. He's also not shutting it down, because I feel like he's not shutting it down because he does enjoy it. He enjoys the attention. I confronted him. I laid it all out, and while he wasn't getting upset, he did try to brush things off. He said I was being sensitive and overreacting. I told him if we didn't have a real conversation about this, I would file for divorce. That got his attention, and he sat down with me. He admitted that at first he found it odd that Sarah was trying so hard. Okay, so he does know. He saw her trying hard with all the men in the office. The more attention she gave him, the more he enjoyed it. The more he responded, the more attention she gave, until she had her sights on him. He knew some of the other men were envious, and he liked that too. He admitted that eventually he just got too deep. He said he knew it was wrong, but had gotten addicted to the attention and didn't want her to move on to another man. Still cheating. That's emotional cheating. So he indulged her sometimes at my expense. He said it was just nice to have two women in two major parts of his life, stating that he knew we'd rarely see one another, so what was the harm? Let's put it this way. If you're doing something that if you got caught, you would upset your partner, you're doing something wrong. He reiterated that he never ever physically cheated with her, but admitted it could be called an emotional affair. It was painful. I won't hide that, but I mean really painful. Like I wasn't enough. I told him from this point on, he needed to stop communicating with Sarah and ask to be transferred or switch jobs altogether. Now, folks, I mean it when I tell you this. He lost his... He's fighting for Sarah and to be around Sarah, but he's not fighting for his marriage. He began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated, it was all above board, and I couldn't control who he talked with at work. He called me a narcissist and a control freak. He told me I had no idea how hard it was, how much stress he had in the office, and that his personal relationship with Sarah helps a lot. Taking it away would just damage his mental health. You know what else would damage his mental health? A divorce. A very messy divorce. It got so bad that I started crying. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. I packed a small bag and called my mother-in-law. She's the only family I have here. I gave her a rundown of what's going on and she offered her home to me. Interesting that you went to the mother-in-law. I'm curious to know what she says and does about this. I'm staying here and just hoping my husband calms down so we can revisit this. I want it to work out. I love him more than anything. Yeah, I mean, everyone in the comments is just like, well, yeah, like we told you, like he's not clueless. He enjoys the attention. The way that he reacts to like his plaything getting taken away is very telling. Like he's acting like a toddler that just got his favorite toy taken away from him and is in timeout. He's fighting harder for Sarah than he is for you. Even knowing that divorce is on the table. I understand that you love this guy, but like, what the dude? So we have another update. Well, I'm back. First, I want to address some of the negative comments. To all the people saying they're team Sarah and hoping Sarah and my husband get together. Who said that? Oh my goodness. I even saw a nasty comment saying Sarah and my husband would be the office power couple. Okay, go for it then. Do not fight for someone who does not fight for you. How can you sit here and say nothing is going on? You claim my husband didn't cheat and I'm being crazy, yet in the same breath, wish they would get together? You're contradicting yourself because deep down, you know something romantic was developing. Don't listen to Reddit, honestly. Like, I love Reddit and I hate Reddit. There's some weird opinions and just know that they're projecting. They wish they had a work wife. Let's just say that. Now for the update. My husband came to my mother-in-law's house. She didn't call him. He knew I was there because I told him and said he wanted to talk. Some big things happened in such a short time. He wanted to explain. According to my husband, after I left, he started to reflect. He did call his mom and they had a long talk. I didn't know any of this. She asked him if he was happy with me and he said yes, but I made him extremely happy. I was a good wife and great partner. This is kind of what it all sunk into him, that he was being juvenile for wanting attention from another woman. He said he couldn't explain, it just felt good. Oh my goodness. I'm rolling my eyes for those of you who are just listening. He assured me he never wanted to sleep with her and never advanced things that way. It was just nice having someone who was fawning over him like a fan. For those of you who said he didn't know what an emotional affair was and was just agreeing with me, you were right. He admitted that he didn't really understand what an emotional affair was, but after looking it up, he agreed that's what it was, though unintentional. He said he didn't want to lose his friend, so he just went along with a lot of what she did. He admitted that he was deep into a fog, but me leaving and this conversation with his mom was the one thing that brought him out of it. He said he didn't want to fight. My husband is big on giving me space, so when I left, he didn't chase after me because he thought it would be best for us to just cool down and think about this and hopefully come back and discuss it more rationally. He did reach out to Sarah. Though they didn't meet in person, they had a phone call. He told her they couldn't remain as close, that their office texts and calls needed to stop, that he would get a replacement mug she wasn't to touch, and that they needed to cut back on their lunches. He wanted to handle this before talking to me to show he was serious. Sarah didn't take it well. She started berating me, saying I was forcing him to do this. My husband stopped her and said no, he was doing this because his marriage was important. He admitted to letting things go too far, but clarified he had no romantic interest in her. He told her if she had feelings for him, she needed to distance herself immediately. I'm not gonna lie, I do like where this is going. I just wish that he did this sooner. I don't know, we're never wrong, right? Like there's some of us that are like damaged and like, you know, maybe we're projecting because like when your wife is telling you that she is uncomfortable with the situation and people are disrespecting her, believe her. Because she should be able to come to you and confide in you and you should listen and act accordingly. Sarah ended up ruining their friendship herself. Though my husband was willing to maintain a more distant friendship, her comments about me and him, claiming she'd never want him and that everything she did was because she knew we weren't meant to be together. So she doesn't want him, but she was just homewrecking. And she was trying to open his eyes. Open his eyes? To date somebody else who didn't want him? No. Her ego is hurt. She did want him. Nobody spends that much time with another person if they're not interested, you know? He said he couldn't believe he'd never seen how vindictive and awful she was. I mean, what do you mean? Like, she's blatantly disrespecting your marriage, like, in your face. She was almost venomous. It didn't end well. After handling that situation, he came to see me, wanting to ensure I knew he understood and was taking the proper steps. He said we could do whatever I needed. I know some of you will say I'm wrong, that divorce is the only option because he had an emotional affair. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I'm not divorcing my husband. Okay. At the very least, therapy, counseling is definitely needed. I wish that he had done all of those things sooner and not when just he was afraid of losing you, but he did do them. So that's a good step. And hopefully in the future, he will be better. I would log that away. You know what I mean? Like just keep it in your psyche and pay attention to little things and trust your instincts because you were right. I told him we needed counseling for both of us. Yes, going through all his devices, emails and texts might have been extreme. He agreed it felt like a breach of privacy, but understood given the circumstances. I told him we both needed to work on things. As of right now, I guess you could say we're separated. We're not staying in the same house. We're going to attend counseling. I don't want to just jump back into things with him. I don't want it to seem like it was okay to make me feel like I was the second option, to ignore all those red flags and to brush me off. This has to be worked on. I'm leaving his mother's house and staying with a friend. Okay, I'm really proud of you. I feel like this is good. It is important to fight for marriages. You know, it's easy for us to be like, divorce him, babes, whatever. But like, you know, at the end of the day, you did make a vow. Yes, he emotionally cheated. Some people would stay, some people would not. It is a breach of trust. He did betray you. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like we can't judge an entire marriage based on like a couple of posts on Reddit. So if she wants to try and work on her marriage, then she's entitled to do that. I feel like it's noble to like want to stay and work on a marriage. And I also feel like it's noble to leave. I'm not sure if anyone's going to want an update after this, always. Sorry, it's so anticlimactic. Sorry, it's the typical. Oh, and you just got back together. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I love my husband. I know he loves me. I don't think everything is an end all be all. Yes, it's a terrible situation. Yes, he did a terrible thing, but I want my marriage to last, so we're giving it another go. I genuinely hope this is my last update, but if it's not, spoiler alert, it's not. Y'all will know. Thank you for all the messages, all the support, and everything. It's really been a huge help. The next update was actually deleted. Or removed, but we do have it. Oh, I got it for you. My husband's ex-work wife has started a smear campaign. Hi Reddit, we are continuing our work wife saga. As a lot of you predicted in my last update, Sarah wasn't happy about my husband ending their friendship and trying to put distance between him and her. I thought she was going to reach out to me, but she never did. Why? Because this was never about me. I was not even on her radar except for somebody to tear down. I will give Sarah one thing. She's extremely efficient. She started her campaign long before Monday morning. Over the weekend, she reached out to several of my husband's co-workers, mostly male. She told them my husband had randomly stopped being friends with her and she suspected it was my fault. She said she couldn't believe it. Everyone knew how close they were. She just felt bad for him, wanting to be a friend for him and hopefully help him out of a terrible marriage. Help him out of a terrible marriage? That's an interesting term for homewrecker. She went on and on about how she couldn't believe how much this is going to affect her during her working hours, that she didn't know if she can continue working at this job. One of the female coworkers at my husband's job messaged me all of this. As a lot of you predicted, she's gearing up to accuse my husband of harassment. Wow. It's interesting that she wants to do this when you're the one that has all these texts of her being flirty and not the other way around. Monday alone, she's put herself in the path of my husband multiple times. It kind of feels like she's setting up to do a he said, she said argument because she's doing a lot of odd things, at least according to my husband. Think stuff like intentionally following my husband into a room or a section of the office that is somewhat closed off, accidentally emailing him or forwarding him things, going to his cubicle multiple times a day for no reason, sitting close to him in meetings. It seems harmless, but it really feels like she's gearing up for something. I would say that this is borderline harassment. It's not harmless. That is harassment. That is unwanted attention from someone that you have set a boundary with. So, HR. My husband did go to HR first thing on Monday morning. And I kind of thought they pretty much said they can't do anything unless it affects work or working hours. His HR is not the greatest. He did let them know what she was doing today, but honestly, I don't think they took him seriously. Ugh. I bet they take her seriously though. We've been thinking about moving. The only thing that keeps us here really is his mom. So he might just transfer jobs. We're not really sure. I hope things don't escalate anymore since he went to HR already. I'm hoping that nothing big happens. I'd like to give a little update about our counseling. To all the people who tell me I'm making a mistake by giving my husband another chance and trying to work it out, I'm so happy I didn't listen to you. I understand it was a shitty situation. I lived through it. I know it is. I know how it felt. But counseling has revealed a lot about my husband that I didn't even know. Apparently he was bullied severely in high school and he kind of went through a little glow up when he went into college. Sarah's definitely one of those stereotypical blonde pretty girls, and my husband admits it did kind of feel like he finally got his chance to be popular in a social setting. My husband admitted that Sarah basically mirrored everything about him, his likes, his dislikes. She talked to him like he walked on water. It definitely sounded like she was boosting his ego in a manipulative fashion. Like I said, this isn't just a forgive and move on kind of situation. But hearing my husband talk about how it felt, the way it affected him, it made me have a lot more sympathy for him. I still haven't come back home, but we're doing it one day at a time. I went and had lunch with him on Monday and I'm going again today. I'm trying to be there for him so he doesn't feel alone. I'm really ready for all of this to die down. I'm hoping it doesn't get taken farther at work, but if it does, we'll deal with it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of I need to be there for him. I'm being understanding of him. I think that it's important to note his trauma and note like what he's been through and why he acted the way he did. But that doesn't mean that you need to go like rushing back to him, because at the end of the day, he knew what he was doing is wrong. Yeah, there were a few things that you said that are like, oh, let me just coddle him now. I don't know. It sounds a little like playing the victim. I'm not gonna lie. Girl, he needs to be there for you. This is his problem. He started this. He flirted with a girl and gave her false hope. Yes, she is crazy, but he needs to be comforting you. I'm actually baffled how it switched to making sure he's okay. Mans was okay when he had all the attention he wanted. I fail to understand how he's the victim in this situation, you know? He's not the victim. You are the victim. I don't like where this is going. So a lot of people are pointing out that he never apologized. I don't know if it's because OP didn't mention it, but it sounds like he still didn't even apologize or attempt to make up for his actions. And now he's playing the victim. OP's protecting this man as if he's a child who doesn't know any better. I would say that this is not the last we have heard from Honeybell Mama. Let's just say I have some concerns. But that's all we have for today. Subscribe!